Hello everyone, it's been Rock39, continuing my series of videos explaining or at least showing how you can get the most concealment out of every weapon in the game. And I believe today I will be covering the pistols in the secondary slot. For this I will use the highest concealment number I can get as far as my primary, which would be my car 4. It's non-DLC, and it's obviously at the highest point you can get when it comes to assault rifles. So we'll just get into it right away, starting with the Shimano 88 pistol. Now this has two basic mods. I did equip all of the pistols with the asepsis suppressor, unless they either can't support suppressors, or if there's one that's specific to the gun that will increase concealment more than this suppressor will. So here we go, the asepsis and a concealment boost. That's all that Shimano 88 has, and it's reaching a 32 in concealment. Really good number. Here, the interceptor 45 pistol, forgive me, reaches a 31 with the same concealments, the asepsis suppressor and the concealment boost. Everything else is not necessary, but if you wanted to get more out of your stability and aim at the cost of a concealment point, please feel free to do so. You could add stability or accuracy with this, but once again, this is all about maxing your concealment. Here, the cross kill pistol. It's got quite a few mods on it, but ultimately I believe only two are affecting it as far as concealment. One is the asepsis suppressor, the other is a concealment boost. Yes, so every other mod that's on here will not affect the concealment, so I'm not going to go through them all. Now here is the Bernetti 9. This one can sit at the max of 34, at least that's the value I believe is the max for any weapon in this game, but it's pretty much reserved for two pistols that I know of for certain. And this is one of them. It uses the asepsis suppressor. The concealment boost is a +3 concealment, which can only be covered by 3 guns that I'm aware of, and we'll come to them in a short while. And I did choose a few other mods, but once again, they're not reflecting a positive or negative impact in the concealment. So a 34 is extremely high, actually the highest in the game as far as I know. Now on to the Bronco. Oh, let me switch that. On to the Bronco 44 revolver. This one is one of those pistols that cannot use a silencer. So I equipped the concealment boost, but this one's a +3 concealment boost. It's one of those that I mentioned right as I was doing the Bernetti 9. I also used, if I'm not mistaken, where is it? Oh, the pocket surprise barrel for the +3 concealment that it offers. And then the slimline body also gives you a +1 concealment, which puts one of the most, if not the most powerful handgun at a 33 concealment, which is extraordinary, especially considering there's not a suppressor on that weapon. Excuse me. Now on to the Shimano custom pistol. Its concealment value is 31, and it's using the asepsis suppressor, a concealment boost, and that'll do it as far as concealment improvements. So 31 is not bad. Now the broomstick pistol, it's one of those guns that can be modded to do extreme damage, but at the cost of concealment. Now I'll give you a quick rundown. Usually you can bump this up, or the damage, by 110 by adding this precision barrel, but you see it decreased the concealment from a 30 to a 27. Now, the minimum detection risk did not go up, but I'm also using the highest concealment value for an assault rifle possible, which is a 32. But that's just a little food for thought. If you players want to use a more damaging pistol, this one is a really decent one to try out for that. But as far as all the mods, the only ones that I'm concerned with are concealment mods. So that's how it stands at a 30 with 2 basic mods. Now here, the Shimano compact pistol. I really love the way this gun looks. I really do. It's cool, but it's not very powerful, and it's statistically not that great, but it does have high concealment of 32, and I placed the asepsis suppressor and a concealment boost on it. There are a few other mods that'll make the gun better, but may cost you some concealment points. Now to the Leo pistol. This is one of those pistols that you can mod heavily and still maintain that concealment number of 31. It's using the asepsis suppressor, a concealment boost. The magazine is an extended magazine, but as you see, it just adds ammunition to the mag and doesn't cost any concealment, so I applied it. And the same with the custom slide. It doesn't cost you anything in concealment, but it's a positive benefit for damage and stability. It takes this gun right up to that medium range, like I like to say, as far as damage goes, which is really good, especially for a gun that's a 31 in concealment. The Strike 18C pistol. Now this is one of those rare pistols that out of all of them, it's a full auto fire capable. So this thing is just like a machine gun in the shape of a pistol, and it's using the asepsis suppressor, the concealment boost, and as far as concealment goes, that's it. Now there are a few other choice mods you can put on this thing that'll make it a little more stable, a little more accurate, but it's really meant to just hose whatever's in front of you. You can dump those rounds pretty fast and in a very short amount of time. So that's one that if you haven't tried a full auto pistol, that's the one you want to put on, or at least give it a go. Now the Deagle pistol. This is one of the higher damaging weapons in the game, and for a good reason. I mean, it's a 50 caliber Desert Eagle is basically what this is, and I've simply placed the asepsis suppressor, a concealment boost, the bling grip, and that's all it has. So concealment number of 31 with a 126 damage. That's a pretty serious hand cannon. So if you haven't played with that one, you should give it a look. It's not a bad weapon to try out. The Signature 40 pistol. This is another one that's kind of like the Leo in the regards that it does a medium damage as opposed to the Deagle. It's a little low, and compared to the Shimano, it's fairly high. So I use the suppressor. Now keep in mind, you can use a standard issue. Any one of these suppressors will work. The only ones that are going to cost you concealment would be the monolith if you're talking non-DLC. But if you're going into the DLC side of things, the budget suppressor is going to cost you, and as well as the Jungle Ninja suppressor. It will cost you more concealment than any of the other ones I mentioned. So obviously the asepsis wins. I'm putting the concealment boost. The extended mag doesn't take anything from concealment, so I did apply it. And the two-tone slide, I just love the way that looks. It didn't need it for concealment, but I figured what the heck. So that one, even though it's got quite a few mods and an extended mag, you can still keep it at a 31 concealment. Excellent. Now the Gruber Kurz is another one of those pistols that'll benefit from a +3 concealment boost. I'm using the asepsis suppressor. There's that concealment boost I was talking about, +3. Now instead of equipping a micro laser, this one comes with the option for a laser grip. It operates the same. You just push down on the cross pad and it'll turn it on and off. But it's actually integrated into the grip. That little hump there, here I'll zoom in on it. That little hump just above or just below or before the hammer, that's the laser. But either way, it's a benefit of accuracy and it doesn't cost you any concealment, so it makes sense to use that as opposed to the micro laser. And that's it as far as concealment mods go. Now on to the last row, and these are going to be all DLC items. So if you don't have any DLC, I'm sorry, this isn't really something that you need to know, but for those of you that do, the Peacemaker 45 revolver can reach a concealment number of 29. Once again, it's just right where it needs to be. This will not support suppressors or silencers, so it will be loud regardless of what mods you put on it. It does use a concealment boost, and I equipped a shootout barrel for the +2 concealment that it added, and that's it. Pretty simple. It's 29 in concealment, so it's not bad. Now on to the other more powerful handgun in the game. The Matever is a 357 pistol with a concealment number of 29. Oh, there I go again here, getting ahead of myself. Must equip it and then we'll go in and check the mods. Now you have a few options for the barrel. Now let me see, I'll go with the Pesante. That takes you to a detection risk of 7. The Medio is probably the more balanced of the two, but the 3 actually, but since concealment is king in my particular videos, at least this set of videos, I'm going with the Piccolo barrel, which is going to take that number to a 27. Now I'm also adding the concealment boost and the Noah grip, which takes you a +2 concealment. So all told, that's a minimum detection risk of 3, and the concealment number is 27. Now on to another DLC item from the Point Break heist. This is the Baby Deagle. Now this is one of the favorite pistols of mine when it comes to stealth, or loud for that matter. If I need a high concealment secondary used as a pistol, it would be this one. I equipped a threaded barrel for more stability. I did add the asepsis suppressor, a concealment boost, and the spike kit. It does give you a benefit in concealment of +1, so I applied it. Now you also have the spike grip, but it doesn't help concealment, it hurts it, so I didn't choose to use it. And that's all that Baby Deagle has, and it's pretty powerful. It's one of my favorites. Like I said, it's more user friendly in my opinion than the Deagle, but it's a DLC item, so if you don't have it, I'm gonna quit bragging about it. Here we're going to the other one from the Hardcore Henry heist, the White Streak pistol. And this is a pretty tricky pistol here. I'll explain in a minute. To get that number of 31, I put a sepsis suppressor, a concealment boost, and that was it. But if you can live with it being loud, I highly recommend putting this mod on, the prototype barrel, because when you apply this to your White Streak pistol, it actually pierces enemy body armor. So if you're shooting the armor wearing law enforcement, some people call them tans, or they look gray if you're in the higher difficulties, but you'll see they kind of look like a catcher. They're wearing a bunch of padding. The bullets will shoot through that if you're using this particular mod with this gun. If you're not, then it's just going to be like any other pistol. Shoot them in and you'll see them break on them and not penetrate. But when you put this on, it's like having Surefire aced. So that might be something you want to look into. But without that prototype barrel, it won't work. And as you see, when you put the prototype barrel on, you can't use a suppressor. So that's the trade-off. But once again, I'm going for highest concealment I can get. and I'm afforded that by using a suppressor. So that's that for the White Streak pistol. Now I hope that was useful, but what I'm going to do now is get a more I guess one that'll have a more of an impact on the concealment or detection risk. So let me see, I'll go with, heck with it, we'll go with the breaker shotgun and see what that does to our concealment. I'm going to go backwards now. The White Streak is a 3. Everything was a 3. So let's see what happens. That stays at a 3. Alright, the whatever goes up to a 9. But now keep in mind that breaker is sitting at 25 concealment. Peacemaker at 6. The Gruber Curse stays at 3. Signature 40 stays at 3. Deagle stays at 3. 3 for the Strike. 3 for the Leo. I believe all of these are going to end up a minimum detection risk of 3. Okay, the Broomstick pistol, it's up 1, but that's still very good. The Shimano Custom, the Bronco 44 is at 3. Yeah, so even with a 25 concealment value as the primary, you will still be able to take any one of these except for 2, I believe it was, well below the high detection risk, so right at the minimum or just above it. And that's with the breaker shotgun. So if you used anything better than a 25, you're almost never going to break past the minimum detection risk while using any of the pistols as your secondary. So there, that video I guess I'm going to call done, and I'm going to, I'll apply this sniper rifle just to see, because it is a 20 in concealment. Let's go back now. The White Streak is at 10, the Baby Deagle at 9, the Matever at 16, the Peacemaker at 13, the Gruber Curse at 6. Okay, so I can stop there. This is the max concealment. Paired with this sniper rifle, you're getting 6, so anything higher than that is just going to fluctuate back and forth, but you'll never attain a 3. But that's still not bad to have a sniper rifle that can shoot through enemy armor and reach out and crack snipers at great distance, and as well as shoot through shields. That's not a bad option, but either way, just a little something to think about. So that video is done, and I hope it gave you a little more information or made you see things a little differently. Hopefully it makes modding guns simpler for you. And as always, take care, be well, and good games, everyone.